Hello everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at Genesis 3:21. Genesis 3:21, original grilling by me. We have a table of contents which has two parts. The first part is about Genesis 3:21, humility, and beasts. Then we have part 2, which is grilling, a meal, a sacrifice, and our ancestors. So we begin, Genesis 3:21. The actual verse says, the Lord God made for the man and his wife garments of skin, with which he clothed them. So the context for this is that man has just been kicked out of the Garden of Eden. He's very sad. All of the curses have been placed upon him, and he's generally not having a very good time when God does this for him. So first, let's look at Cornelius a Lapides and St. John Chrysostom's commentaries on this with regards to humility. What should we learn from this about the way we dress? Because it's about clothing. Why, O man, do you glory in silken attire? Indeed, clothing is the mark and stigma of sin. This is from Cornelius a Lapide, excellent Bible commentator. You can find his commentaries on Genesis 1 through 3 on Amazon, I think. Very awesome. The second one here from St. John Chrysostom, he made them garments of skin to teach us to shun soft and dissolute life, and not to pine for one that is lazy and characterized by inactivity, but rather strive for an austere life. You're supposed to learn that life should not be easy. It should not be comfortable. God doesn't make us ultra comfortable clothing. He makes us clothing out of skins. We have a second slide from Chrysostom on the clothing aspect here, humility. Let the wearing of clothes be a constant reminder to us of the loss of advantages and instruction about the punishment which the race of human beings received on account of disobedience. Accordingly, let those people who make use of such paraphernalia that they are no longer familiar with garments of sheep's wool, but are clad in silk, and have been carried to such extremes that they even drape gold with covering, the female sex particularly demonstrating this kind of luxury. Let them, I say, tell us, why do you dress up the body with these things and delight in clothing of that kind, not understanding that this covering was devised as severe punishment for the fall? So the idea is just that the clothing you wear, you should strive for a kind of humility in the way you dress. You shouldn't try to go out of your way to dress up. You shouldn't wear gold, if it's not necessary. There's only someone who thinks it's necessary. Anyway, but yeah, that's like a spiritual direction for the way you dress, is that the clothing you wear should strive to emulate this idea that clothing is, in a certain sense, a punishment for the fall and a reminder of your own mortality. Next, Cornelius a Lapide again, he says that these garments made from the skins of dead animals warned Adam that he was bound to die. So before, in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were incapable of death. This preternatural immortality was something that was given to them as something extra. But they obtained the likeness of beasts, according to St. Augustine, through the fall, and like beasts, they begin to die. You shall die. So the clothing, again, is a reminder that they will, at some point, die. Next, we have grilling. The meal. So, in understanding the verse, St. John Chrysostom says this: let us understand made in the sense of gave directions for. He, that is God, ordered that they be clad in garments of skin as a constant reminder of their disobedience. So what Chrysostom is saying here is that when the verse says that God made them garments of skin or clothed them in garments of skin, what this actually means is that God directed them to make garments of skin for themselves from an animal. This is from Ephraim the Syrian. Perhaps this happened so that by the animal's flesh, Adam and Eve might nourish their own bodies, and that with the skins they might cover their nakedness, but also that by the death of the animals, Adam and Eve might see the death of their own bodies. So the idea here is that they make themselves the clothing out of skin under God's direction, but they also eat the animal just after the fall that they kill for the purposes of making the clothing. So they kill this animal, God directs them to make clothing out of it, and they eat the flesh of the animal that they have killed. And this is the first supper. You know, we have the Last Supper. You're probably familiar with that. But this is the first supper after the fall. Man is kicked out of the garden. God gives him clothes and a meal to remind him that he is not entirely abandoned by God. Does it contain an allusion to an otherwise unrecorded institution of sacrifice? That's from the Cambridge Bible for schools and colleges. And then the pulpit commentary says that tunics prepared from the skins of animals, slaughtered possibly for food, though more probably slain in sacrifice. I don't see why we should take these things to be at odds with each other. The first meal post-fall was likely a sacrifice, a sacrificial meal. We have some of those in Christianity, actually. So I just think this is awesome. So after the fall, man is kicked out of the Garden of Eden. God directs them to make clothing for themselves, and he gives them their first meal after the fall, which is also a sacrifice to him. And then we get to the end. The common culinary heritage of man is grilling. Man grills himself. Man grills himself, the first animal that he kills after the fall. Grilling is a sign that even in man's wickedness, God still loves us. All humans descend from Adam and Eve, so all humans have grilling as their common cultural heritage. Never forget, this is what the establishment fears, is communal grilling. So this summer, go out and grill with your family. Have a good time. Grill with your neighbors, grill with your church. And if anyone tells you not to, tell them it's biblical, and tell them to leave you alone. Take the grill pill, kids. Okay. I hope you all have an excellent day. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, because I've been having a lot of fun making it.